Welcome, everybody, to the Hire My VA Team and Business Building Podcast, where we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank. Without breaking your bank, the big bank, your most important bank, which is yours. Anyway, hey, I'm Dave Braun. I'm here with my partner and co-host, friend, mentor, coach. Like too many superlatives to get out, right? Just hey, Larry.
David, how are you? I miss you.
Well,
I love you. I'm glad you're in my life. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you here.
Yeah, a couple days, right? Again, 3 days.
Yep,
that'll be fun. Right. Always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got another really good question, and this is something that was within our community. They asked this question.
Okay.
Right? I've hired my first VA. When is the right time to hire a second VA? Whew, that's a tough one, huh?
Well, the time to hire them, when you start thinking about it, you need to start like planning for it, right? It's interesting, you know, sometimes this is one of those that kind of falls into two camps, you know, because most of these I say, there's no easy answer. There's not a right or a wrong. This usually comes down to two. You've either hired them too soon or you've hired them too late.
Yeah.
How's that? Have you ever hired someone at the right time? No.
Yeah, there's never a right time.
Yeah. But there's probably some things we can kind of kick around here to say, well, let's kind of not bury, but what can we uncover to find some of the clues, right?
Yeah.
I would say, though, that before you hire the second one, you need to make sure that the first one is onboarded properly, and that not only are they productive, but you're productive in the way that you are delegating tasks to them, that you've got systems in place, and that if they were to leave, that you could easily replace them.
Right.
Yeah. So I would say that before you even consider it, make sure that those couple of things, you've checked those off your list. Yeah, what do you think, Dave?
Well, I think in addition to that, is I think before, when you've hired your first VA, see, some people, when they hire somebody, they can just get lucky, right? It's like, oh, a friend referred to this other person and they just get lucky, right? They didn't ask them any questions or go through a really good, rigorous process and they just come on board and they get lucky. You don't want to do that with your second one, right? Because you're tempting fate. You want to make sure that when you hire your first one, that you've got at least some type of a process down to where you feel like you're okay. You're going to have some confidence that the second person you get, you're not just throwing, darts at the wall or spaghetti at the wall or, whatever. Right. So it's not so I think you're right. You want to make sure that you've got some systems in place to work with the one you've got. You've also got to have a few systems in place for hiring. Right. Because if you're going to be successful with, you're going to get the second one, you're going to probably want to get, 3 or 4 down the road. Right. You're going to want to keep doing it. So that's one of the things that we provide in our Hire My VA course and community is a system for you guys to take as much of the guesswork out of this as possible.
Can we pause there for a second? Are you able to
hold
that thought for a second? Yeah. I want to put kind of a finer point on this thought. And that is that you really want to make sure that you, me, whoever it is leading this VA effectively. I'm going to encourage you that at least wait a few months before you hire your second VA. Yeah. All right. Make sure that you're doing a great job of leading and managing them. Remember, leadership and management are two different things, right? Because you can be fooled for the first 30 days that everything's sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, right? But are you double checking their work?
Oh, yeah.
Are they meeting deadlines appropriately? Because just because you're getting along and it's all smiles every time you talk, doesn't mean that they are effectively, positively impacting your business or your life yet, right? We've had this experience with some clients before, right? They've hired too many VAs too quickly and they didn't even have their management functions in place. And then things start to crumble.
Yeah.
Right?
Quickly.
That's right. So this is as much about you as it is about them. Okay. And that's a hard thing for some of us entrepreneurs and leaders to swallow. Right.
I agree.
Sometimes we are the roadblock.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you
Yeah.
go. I just want to make sure that we touched on that before we continued.
Okay. All right. So now let's assume that you've
Mm-hmm.
got some of this stuff in place and you're like, okay, I think I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Larry, we talked about identifying 4 different camps here
Yeah.
for this person. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, or your reasons for wanting to hire. Right. So
Yeah.
number 1, I'll just briefly touch on them and then we'll go into the
Mm-hmm.
details. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So number 1 is you want to, you want to do more of what your business gives to the world. Right.
Yeah.
Or right, or you want to do better at what your business gives to the
That's
world. You
right.
want to step up your game, right?
That's right.
Number 3 is you want to work more at your highest self, meaning
Mm-hmm.
you want to do things that only you can do more and more, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then number 4 is maybe you just want to work less. Maybe you don't want to work as many hours. You just want to work less hours and farm it out to some folks, right? So those are really the 4 categories. Let's go through
Mm-hmm.
those real quick, Larry. You ready?
Okay. Yep.
All right. So let's go. So the first reason is you want to do more of what your business gives to the world. And the question is can you justify the expense of that relative to their cost? Okay.
Well, cost or investment. Let's
Investment. Yeah.
let's
That's a better word.
consider. Yeah. The investment of, time in training them, the investment, the financial investment in them. So that's only something that you can do, but you have to analyze it
Right.
for sure. If you're paying them $500 a month or $1,000 a month, what's the ROI on that? Can you generate more revenue or decrease expenses enough? It's not just a revenue thing, right? So the combination between increased revenue and maybe it's increased productivity across the organization or decreased cost from the time that you're spending doing something else. You've got to ask yourself that question, right?
Mhm.
So that might be a time if you realize, hey, I'm going to spend $1,000 on this, but it's going to generate $5,000 in increased revenue and decreased expenses. That's pretty good math.
Yeah.
You might want to say, yeah, it's probably time to do that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What else you got, Dave, on that?
Well, and of course, if that, that ROI is, you hire somebody, that ROI is likely not going to happen the first day they start working for you, right?
Oh, right.
Take a little bit of time. So you've got to factor
Ramp up.
that in, but you're so I like what you said. It really isn't a cost. It's an investment, but you got to be clear on what that ROI is. Once they are hired and trained up, you should be getting a particular return. Now, of course, this is the reason if you want to do more of what your business gives to the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go to the second one. The second one is you want to do better at what your business gives to the world. You want to step up your game and you want to get more to the a higher level of client, a higher level of what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's in certain ways it's a very similar calculation, although there's a little twist, right? You still want to be able to justify their expense relative to the investment that you're doing, right?
Yeah, particularly if you've been a solopreneur up to this point, and you've been doing it all. If you hire right with your first VA, and I'm going to mention this interview again. It was a good interview with someone that we know who's been using VAs for a while, and his recommendation was, particularly with your first VA, don't hand your entire business over to a cadre of VAs. Pick one aspect of your business and have them do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so particularly if it's like most entrepreneurs aren't great at graphics and sales and finance and business development and content creation. They're not good at everything, right?
Right.
And so if you can find something, a task or responsibility that your VA is going to do that's going to up-level the entire organization, provide better service to your clients, provide better graphics work, more accurate financial reporting. That's what we're talking about. That might be a contributing factor to, it's time to hire somebody else.
Yeah, and the idea behind that is they will hopefully help you to attract better clients, higher paying clients over time. And that, of course, if they're higher paying clients, and they're going to be able to, pay you more, but you'll be able to charge more for what you do, right? So you'll be able to get more revenue per client in this case.
And hopefully free you up to allow you to do more of what you do best.
Yeah. more of what you do best. And that kind of leads into the third reason,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
You want to work more at your highest self, or as what Larry said, kind of doing the things that only you can really do and doing more of them, right? So I guess that ends up, leading to that question is, will you be able to, assuming you hire that person in this category for this third reason, will you be able to bring in more dollars, or can you increase your level of love for your business that will justify the cost, right? So you're working more at your highest self and what you do best, right?
Right. And bringing in those more dollars isn't necessarily got there and closing more deals today. Part of bringing in more dollars is you being the face of your organization so that you have a
Mm,
higher profile in the
profile, yeah.
community and in the industry, so that you become what we call the honeypot, so that more people see you. So it might mean if you're not working in the weeds so much and the minutia of the business, that you have time to go out and do a TV show or a speaking engagement or a panel discussion or go to a mixer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Those types of things, right? Um, so oftentimes it's not like the answer is not right in front of your face. Like, I'm going to go out and close this deal today,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden I've got an extra $500,000 in the business. Now, again, it's about investing your time so that more people can learn about who you are as an organization.
Exactly. I love your comment about the honeypot, right?
Yeah.
We have a webinar that talks about that. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so that was the third reason, right? So then the
Mhm.
fourth reason you may be thinking about hire somebody is you just want to work less time in your business, right?
This is the freedom that we talk about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we have a client who had to do this and kind of forced into it because there was something personal that happened in her life.
All right.
She just could not spend the time she needed to spend in her business anymore.
Mhm.
She wanted to spend more time, with her family, and frankly, she had to, right?
Yeah.
But so this is, I mean, this it's harder to quantify, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the ROI of working less and spending more time with your family, with your kids, or with maybe an aging parent or something like that, right? You can't really quantify that too much.
Mhm.
So, how you're going to have to be the judge of that. I don't know exactly how you would do that, but I mean, I can give you an example of something that happened to me related to this is because I'll tell you a fun story is my son, Brian, he's, in his 30s now, but when he graduated from college, it was a little bit of a struggle for him to do that. And I had, Larry, as you know, I used to work in the corporate world, but it
Yeah.
wasn't too far from being removed from that when I was laid off because they went bankrupt, that I started working from home and doing web development. And I'll never forget the day he came in after he took his last final, because he was so relieved. He came in and I got up from my work and I said, "Hey, how was your last final? How did it go?" He just gave me this big old bear hug that I swear it lasted for a minute. And it was just a special, priceless time in my life that I wouldn't give up $100 million. If somebody would pay me money and they'd erase that memory in my mind, give me $100 million for it, I would never accept that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that kind of a moment in time that I had with my son was just so priceless and precious to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting. You're right. How do you put an ROI on that? While you were talking, I was looking up some statistics from some of our past coaching clients
Good idea.
and mentees. And what we found is this. Um, as many of you know, the HireMyVA program is just one program that Dave and I offer. But how do you put value on this? To work 16, this is the average numbers of our coaching clients and mentees 2 years ago, I think it was. 16% fewer hours that people were working on in their business, but they realized a 62% average increase in revenue.
Mm,
All right. So
wow.
that's kind of a great ROI right there, right? But how do you calculate this one? 16% fewer hours, but 52% reported improvement in their relationship with their families and friends.
Yeah.
Or no, that's not it. It was a 52% increase in the relationships, not 52% reported. Everyone on average reported a 52% increase in the relationship
Wow.
with their family and friends.
I'd forgotten about all that.
How would you like your relationships with your family and friends to be improved by 52%?
Amazing.
The other one is this. What's the value of a 33% increase in your overall health and fitness while working 16% fewer hours on your business? How do you put an ROI or a dollar value to a 52% improvement in your relationships and a 33% improvement in your health in a 1-year period? It's very difficult to work fewer hours if you don't have better systems, which usually means having team members who are executing on all those brilliant ideas.
That's right.
That you have.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I'm sorry if I looked distracted. I was typing and that kind of, it's because I was, okay. I wanted to pull up these stats. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'd forgotten about that. And it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So, for you guys, let's do a quick summary and we'll bring this to a close,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So we talked about, making sure you have your systems in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Within your business, as well as having a system in place so that when you do get the second or third or fourth VA, you're getting somebody we talked about this in a previous episode, high levels of motivation, integrity, and capacity, right? So having those systems in place and then being clear on, what the reason is so that you can calculate, if you can, the ROI, right? And those reasons where you want to do more of what your business gives to the world or do better at it. Number two. Number three is you want to work more at your highest or your best self. Or number four, you just want to work less. And that's the hard one to calculate the ROI.
Yes, you got it. Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think? Anything else? Any final thoughts?
Well, I would just encourage people that don't get sucked into the lone wolf myth about entrepreneurship. Yeah. This is why we have intentionally developed a community for you. This is why we're doing these podcasts. This is why we do right now the twice monthly community calls. And we got some announcements about that coming up as well. Participate. Go on the journey with us. Go on the journey with other people that are in the program. That's where you're going to really find some amazing value because you can ask these questions and we can go deep with you. If we've not hit the point that you were hoping we were going to make in this call, then in the comment section, wherever you are watching or listening to this, then ask a question, offer a comment, and we'll get back to you on it. So I guess that's how I'd wrap this up. Don't go on the journey alone. Participate in the community, and let's go on the journey together.
Yeah. Because we are here. Larry and I are here to help you. We've helped a whole bunch of folks, right? You could hear the statistics of what Larry talked about and how much we've helped folks. And we want to help you guys too, right? Yeah. And you guys have taken a great step in that and joining us today on this podcast. And part of that also is just remember, all the stuff that we talked about is achieved through building a team, because that's the way to improve what you're doing in your business and generate more revenue, reclaim your freedom, which is the most important thing, right?
That's right.
So as Larry said, 3 things we'd love for you to do, go in and leave some comments for us, right? Either on the YouTube channel there or, where you can in the podcast, give us a rating, a 5-star rating, right? So subscribe to what you're doing. So do that. And then, of course, finally, go to HireMyVA.com for more information on our course and community, because even without experience, you can learn how to prepare for hire and thrive with virtual assistants. Larry and I, as you could hear, we've helped a lot of folks. We're continuing to do that, and we want to help you too. So just go to HireMyVA.com for more information.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm just going to remind you of this. Do yourself a favor. Do the world a favor. Stop chasing success, but instead go do something significant today. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. All right, my friends, go get them. I'll see you later.
See you later, folks. Bye.